If you are 18 to 35 years old and feel the call to full-time ministry, I've got exciting news. Revival Today Bible Institute this fall, September 2022. If you feel the call of God into full-time ministry, a strong biblical foundation is essential. However, education alone is insufficient. Sound biblical training coupled with the power of the Holy Spirit is the vital dynamic duo. God has called Jonathan and I to open up a training school that offers live, on-campus classes to equip the next generation in fulfilling the call of God in their lives. Revival Today Bible Institute's mission is to raise ministers of excellence who deliver the gospel of Jesus Christ in word and in power. Will you join us? Will you join us in seeing this generation transformed by the gospel of Jesus Christ? If you want more information or you want to apply, go to revivaltodaybibleinstitute.com. I love you. See you there.
That leads to destruction. And tonight, I would say with Moses, I would say with Joshua, turn, repent, choose God, serve Him, live for Him. That is the message of God tonight to this great audience of people at Yankee Stadium.
I see revival coming to planet Earth, maybe as never before. It would be untold numbers, an untold, uncounted multitudes that will be saved. The dead will be raised. The arthritic will be healed. Cancer will be healed. No disease would be able to stand before God's people, and that it would be a worldwide situation.
There's a church that doesn't just know about God, they know God. They don't just believe in His power, they carry His power. God will shake the United States of America one last time, not by might, not by power, but by my Spirit.
There you go.
Well, hello, everyone. That was a close-up.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Check the Market. We got news from Davos. I was reading a bunch of articles, and so we got some news today. If you read between the lines, it's interesting what they're talking about. Online shopping down, and what will surpass stocks. Got a couple articles that we'll go into about all of that today. How's everybody doing? Christophoris, Wayne, morning to you. Ninja, Jesse, Lyric, Carmen, Gerald in the house. Good morning to you, Gerald. How's it going? Markets were up yesterday and down again today on news of Snapchat, which I don't understand. I mean, that's what they're blaming it on. But Snapchat isn't doing so well. Brought home my first physical gold and silver. Awesome. Congratulations, McLeod. Jason, good morning. Steven, good morning to you. Lucy, welcome everybody. Make sure you share the broadcast. Let's get into it this morning. See what's going on. What you got?
Alibaba Group President J. Michael Evans boasts at the World Economic Forum about the development of an individual carbon footprint tracker to monitor what you buy, what you eat, and where and how you travel. Go for it.
We're developing, through technology, an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So, individual carbon footprint tracker. Stay tuned. We don't have it operational yet, but this is something that we're working on.
Which I think is interesting how he proposes it. It's like, we're going to give this to the world, and it's going to be individualized for the consumer to do it on their own.
The only people that are going to use it are, in the Western world, people that are guilt-tripped into feeling bad about the environment. Because I doubt that,
Nobody
anybody
else
in
like
the Sudan is going to be tracking their individual carbon footprint.
Which actually theirs would probably be pretty good.
Well, they burn firewood every day to make their food.
Right there, you're knocked off the platform.
So
dang. Next. McCormick Chief Legal Counsel Chuck Cooper says because all ballots are time-stamped by the county boards of elections on receipt, a voter's handwritten date is meaningless. All timely ballots of qualified Republican voters should be counted. So McCormick campaign is suing over mail-in ballot procedures amid the close of the GOP Senate fight to win the Senate seat. So between McCormick and Dr. Oz running for U.S. Senate, nobody knows yet, still, over a week later, where things actually stand on this race. Need not be this way. I know, but it doesn't need to be this way. They could have resolved it like last year.
Yeah, but
why? Why would you resolve something so important as elections?
Why make something simple when you can make it,
incredibly complicated and corrupt? Exactly. Next. World Economic Forum says augmented retail is coming soon in the metaverse. Mark Edwards Rose, the rise of the stay-at-home economy, ?
These guys are too late to the game. It's already here.
It is already here. They're saying potentially 5 years out.
These guys need to check.
So out of touch.
Yeah.
Go for it.
We have to remember that change is inevitable. It's happening every day.
Hand gestures.
So as I started with a little bit of joke, which is real, showrooms have gotten smaller. Distribution and fulfillment has gotten much, much bigger. And these channels of the retailing omni-channel are now going to be augmented by the metaverse. And do not laugh.
Do not laugh.
The metaverse, NFTs, I'm up there with all of you. Like, I bought an NFT. I don't know what I own. It's pretty. I don't know what I own. One day I will, but the metaverse is real, and if you think about this, it is an incredible opportunity in Web 3.0 to move from social media to an immersive virtual experience, to see JP Morgan in the metaverse giving mortgages to buy metaverse property, and also to lend on physical properties in the real world.
Pause.
You're seeing this from a retail perspective.
All right.
That makes sense.
All right. Okay, what's your
interesting.
moment?
You're giving someone fake money,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
To buy fake. Well, what could constitute as free? I mean, it's it's real, just like the U.S. dollar is, I guess. Fake.
Right.
Fake real, but still. Give a mortgage. Who would take out a mortgage to buy?
People my age.
Just think of like the bubble that would create. Because what if you lose faith in the system, right? If there's a hack or something in the metaverse and somebody steals 100 properties,
Right.
and you can't recover them, and you own a mortgage on that property.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't think of that. Interesting.
Those are some
Ooh.
serious implications. But hey,
It's interesting. Keep going. Let's finish it out.
Where if you're Vans or you're Nike, you and your avatar with your Oculus glasses, maybe in a few years holograms, can make your way into a virtual store. Your avatar is bopping around, it's jumping into a concert, you might be playing a video game, or your kids might be doing it. You can walk into a virtual store, grab a pair of shoes off the shelf, put them on your feet. They'll give you an experience through sound of whether it fits right. You'll see how it looks. And if you don't think this is the next wave of retailing, you're going to do that at your own peril. So we do have some more things to worry about, but I think this is one of the most exciting times that you can possibly be living in.
I don't know what to think about that last part.
no, it is.
Well, it is.
I mean, what they call Web 3 is,
It's legit.
could potentially be our generation's like .com.
Yeah.
So
Just
there's a lot
crazy.
of money to be made.
Oh, totally.
A lot of money to be made, but a lot of people are also going to get burned. That's for sure. Like there is with with anything. Do avatars pay taxes? Absolutely, they'll be paying taxes.
Everybody, everything has to pay a tax these days. Next. Biden stated unequivocally that the U.S. would intervene militarily on behalf of Taiwan should China invade its territory. Now, he made an interesting statement that I want to get to. Let us see the story. President Joe Biden stated unequivocally that the U.S. would intervene militarily on behalf of Taiwan should China invade its territory. Biden was speaking in Tokyo at a conference with Prime Minister Fumio Kishida. Continue. Noting that the U.S. didn't want to get involved in the Ukraine conflict militarily for obvious reasons, a reporter asked, "Are you willing to get involved militarily to defend Taiwan if it comes to that?" Continue. Yes. Wow, that's really big. Biden said almost wistfully, "You are," the reporter confirms. Continue. "That's the commitment we made," Biden said. "That's the commitment we made. We are not. Look, here's the situation. We agree with the One China policy. We've signed on to it. And all of the attendant agreements made from there."
What?
Which actually there's been no commitment made for a one China policy. The administration has never signed on to this. He continues, but the idea that it could be taken by force, is just not appropriate. It will dislocate the entire region and be another action similar to what happened in Ukraine. And so it's a burden that is even stronger, Biden said. Past presidents have offered what the New York Times calls strategic ambiguity when confronted with questions about a military response to a potential Chinese invasion of Taiwan. Apparently, Biden's staff was also surprised with the outright admission that the U.S. would offer more than aid to Taiwan, as had been done in Ukraine, but actual military assistance further than arms and resources. I think this is way bigger than Ukraine. With what's happening over there. So kind of creepy what's happening with Biden and his statements on Taiwan. Next. Saudi Arabia signals backing for Russia and OPEC+. Let's see what it says. Saudi Energy Minister Prince bin Salman told the Financial Times in an interview published on May 22 that he sees Russia as an integral part of OPEC Plus group of oil producers, adding that politics should be kept out of the alliance. He said Saudi Arabia hopes to work an agreement with OPEC Plus, which includes Russia. Referring to a new crude production deal, oil pumping quotas under the current OPEC Plus agreement struck in 2020 are set to expire in several months. While the United States banned oil imports from Russia in March, member states of the European Union remain divided on phasing out Russia crude imports. OPEC and its allies are unwinding record output cuts put in place during the worst of the pandemic in 2020, although they have rebuffed Western pressure to raise output at a faster pace as energy consumers grapple with the highest oil prices in years. Oil prices surged above $130 per barrel in March over concerns of disrupted supplies from Russia, although they have since eased. Continue. Brent crude futures rose by 22 cents to $112.77 a barrel by mid-afternoon on May 23rd, while the U.S. benchmark West Texas Intermediate crude fell 49 cents to $109.79. And this literally just goes on to continue to talk about this, but I thought it was interesting, the alliances that we're seeing, all the shifting happening on the international front with regards to the alliances being made. Saudi and Russia, not a big surprise to me. Surprise to you?
No, I mean, Russia's always been a member of, the OPEC Plus community. And so I think that, it's an oil cartel.
Totally.
They're going to look out for their own, but
to see Saudi saying what they are about Russia.
I mean, Saudi Arabia, they're not even picking the phone up when the U.S. calls. So
it's interesting.
Yeah.
Next. Lawrence Fox predicts a riot over energy bills that are set to skyrocket to $2,800 pounds in the autumn for millions in the UK. I think at that point, energy, cost of living, everything, people would start rioting. Not just, it's happening in Sri Lanka, other places throughout Asia.
Sri Lanka is crazy.
Sri Lanka has gone
They have
crazy.
They have no fuel.
They have no fuel. And they're hunting down politicians.
Yeah, good. Bad.
Well, some are violent, some are not. So picketing, yay. Other things not so yay. Next. Kamala Harris, when we talk about, just go for it.
When we talk about our children, I know for this group, we all believe that when we talk about the children of the community, they are the children of
What was that? Go back.
One more time.
When we talk about our children, I know for this group, we all believe that when we talk about the children of the community, they are the children of the community.
I know. She has this weird...
What was this?
It's creepy little thing. It's like she's possessed or something. But just like a good old communist, children no longer belong to parents. They belong to the community.
Mm-hmm.
So your administration is signaling to you what they really believe. Next. To add insult to injury, Dan Crenshaw from Texas had taxpayers fund his flight to Ukraine after he just helped send the corrupt Ukrainian government $40 billion, all while Americans are financially struggling. Dan hates Americans. I actually agree that he really has a dislike for Americans because he also conducts his own insider trading, amongst other things that Mr. Crenshaw is involved in. So I'm not in favor of Dan Crenshaw at all. I thought it was a good tweet. That was a good tweet.
Markets are open. And let's take a look. Dow Jones is down 101 points. Wait, is that accurate? No, it's not. It's down 0.12 points. Oh, there we go. Now it updated. Dow Jones, 141 points. NASDAQ down 224 points. And the S&P down 40 points. See what happens at the end of the day once everybody calms down about Snapchat. And they're forecasting their Snapchat was way down. 30.
Do you have a story coming up about Snapchat?
I do not. No.
Okay, can you explain what's going on? Because I haven't seen anything about this.
So Snapchat said that they're forecasting a lot like loss on revenue from ads because people aren't spending as much on ads.
Yep.
And so what people are doing is they're taking a look at that and they're saying, oh, well, if that's happening to Snapchat, then that's probably also going to happen to Google and Facebook and Twitter and like all the other social media companies or big tech companies. And so that means that their bottom line is going to be less, which is going to, affect. And that's why everybody's freaking out about it.
Makes sense.
Diesel was $4.41 yesterday. Well, Mizzo, I drove past a gas station today and diesel was $6.09, which is insane. I've never seen $6 anything in Pennsylvania when it comes to gas, but yeah, that's it's crazy. It's actually upsetting. It's getting to the point where I'm getting like upset when I go to the gas station.
Because it doesn't have to, it shouldn't be this way. There's no excuse for it to be this way.
That is true, Jason. It should it should be $1.50. I don't understand sometimes like why everybody freaks out about those things. Just relax. Keep your money in.
Or about Snapchat.
About Snapchat. Like, if Snapchat's going down, then everything else is going to go down.
Dang, Kenny says diesel is $6.89 in upstate New York. Yeesh.
All right, let's see some articles. Let's see what's going on. Amazon planning to sublease warehouses amid online shopping slowdown. Ooh. Amazon plans to sublease at least 10 million square feet of warehouse capacity. So, you just heard that gentleman from the World Economic Forum saying, that they're increasing capacity and that retail's going away and all of this, but it looks like they might be still working on 2020 data because Amazon is planning to sublease warehouses because online shopping is slowing down. People are going back to stores. The malls are crazy packed. Mm-hmm. All right, next. Snap's warning of a weaker outlook sends ripples through tech stocks. So I do have an article. Let's see it. An unexpected warning about the deteriorating economy by Snap Inc. Chief Executive Evan Spiegel rippled through the internet and social media stocks late Monday, potentially ruining the market's comeback attempt from earlier in the day. Who gave this guy a mic to speak? Ruining the comeback. After the market closed with strong gains on Monday, Spiegel spoke at a JP Morgan Technology. Oh, there we go. It's Jamie Dimon's fault. And the company stated in a regulatory filing that its second quarter earnings would come in below its prior estimates. At the conference, Spiegel said the economy has definitely deteriorated further and faster than Snap had expected when it gave its forecast during its earnings call last month. But then again, Jason was right. Who still uses Snapchat? He added that the Snapchat parent is slowing its hiring pace for the year and looking for ways to cut costs. Continue. Shares of Snap tumbled more than 30% in after-hours trading, down 37% right now. And the stocks of other internet social media companies fell along with it. Alphabet, Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter. Spiegel said Snap, like many other businesses, was dealing with supply chain issues. What kind of supply chain issues? You need a computer and a server. Inflation concerns about interest and the war in yes.
What?
Snapchat is dealing with the war in Ukraine.
Oh my gosh.
There's a lot to deal with in the macro environment today, but we're staying focused and really on long-term investing through it. Are you? And comments by Snap could be an indication of further deterioration in the internet sector, with an overall internet advertising slowdown as the macroeconomy slows. It's worth noting that last year, when the impact of Apple's privacy changes was felt on platforms that depended on ad revenue, it turned out that Snap and Facebook were the hardest hit by those changes. All right, next. Davos 22. Intel CEO says we're about halfway through the chip shortage, so just 2 more years to go. Let's see it. Usually optimistic Intel CEO. You see, I love how they put that in there. Usually. Optimistic. Intel CEO Pat Gelsinger offered up a sobering view on when the semiconductor shortage roiling everything from auto producers to PC makers may abate. We're about halfway through the chip shortage, Gelsinger told Yahoo Finance Live on the sidelines of the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland on Monday. My expectation now is that it persists through 24, and the big issue that we've additionally faced over the last 6 to 9 months, equipment that is going into the fabs. Persistently low levels of semiconductors reflect the frenzied buying throughout the COVID-19 pandemic to power demand for work-from-home technologies, such as PCs to powering video games and crypto. They have already slowed down, though, because a lot of retailers, when they report their earnings, are reporting that sales of things that require semiconductors are down, like televisions and, gaming consoles and things like that. Continue. Demand for chips surged 17% in 21 from 2019. A recent report from the Commerce Department found the median inventory of semiconductor products highlighted by buyers fell from 40 days in 2019 to less than 5 days in 21. And inventories in key industries are even smaller. It's a crisis, Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo said about the shortage on Yahoo Finance Live in January. The situation has hit crisis level that automakers such as General Motors and Ford, everybody, even Mercedes, BMW, have shipped vehicles without certain chips. Next. Guggenheim's Minerd believes fine art real estate will outperform stocks, sees Bitcoin bottoming at $8,000. At which point, I'm going all in. 80,000? 8,000? Are you kidding me? Bear market don't end at fair value. They tend to overshoot. Let's see it. Guggenheim Partners Global Chief Investment Officer Scott Minerd has rejoined Wall Street's growing chorus of equity bears, as he noted last week during an interview with MarketWatch. And as stocks looked set to extend their latest rebound on Monday, Minerd added another wrinkle to his cautious outlook by telling CNBC during an interview from the Alpine Redoubt of Davos that he believes real estate and fine art will outperform equities over the next 5 years. If given $10,000 in a 5-year investing horizon, Minerd said he would rather put the money to work in real estate or fine art instead of equities. He also shared some downright apocalyptic thoughts about crypto, warning that the digital assets could experience an even more brutal washout, with Bitcoin potentially sliding all the way back to $8,000. Continue. When you break below 30,000 consistently, 8,000 is the ultimate bottom, so I think we have a lot more room to the downside, especially with the Fed being restrictive. The problem with crypto is that most coins are junk or garbage. Although he believes that both Bitcoin and Ethereum will ultimately survive the downturn, Minerd said crypto likely hasn't found the right prototype yet to help drive more widespread adoption. To put all this in context, a decline all the way to $8,000 for Bitcoin would represent a pullback of 70% from approximately $30,000 per coin, Bitcoin's price on Monday. Speaking of cryptocurrencies, I read something interesting. They were talking about this on Davos, at Davos, that one of the finance ministers was saying there's a need for all the CBDCs for like an interbank transfer system between all the CBDCs.
I think that was the Finnish minister.
Which, that is something that XRP can do, that Ripple can do. Because they're already working on the infrastructure for a lot of these CBDCs, so they already have a payment system in place that some countries use.
Yep.
So that's just another use case for XRP. All right, next. The global supply chain of a smartphone processor. Number one, design in the United States. Equipment manufacturing is developed in the United States, Japan, and Europe. Materials mined and refined in the United States and then processed into wafers in Japan and South Korea. Manufacturing and packaged in Taiwan and Malaysia, and eventually assembled into smartphones in mainland China. Sounds complicated. Silicon is mined and refined in the United States and then processed into wafers in Japan and South Korea. What about all the other stuff that they're literally looting the Congo of? Coltan and all those other things. Those companies should be in no way, shape, or form at the top of the ESG list, because if you give Tesla a lower score because of the social part, the social and governance part, you should give Apple a horrible score with what they do to those kids in the Congo, making them mine coltan out of holes. Look it up when you get a chance. Go to YouTube and type in coltan mining in the Congo. We'll be shocked. Next. Unchecked climate change will cost the global economy $178 trillion. Well, if inflation keeps up, then I'll be able to write a check for that very soon.
Glad you're laughing about it.
But a systemic net zero transition could create 5-decade gains of $43 trillion, a boost to global GDP of 3.8% in 2070 alone, says report issued for the World Economic Forum at Davos. Let's see it. So this is from Deloitte. Inaction on climate change will cost the global economy $178 trillion over the next 50 years. 3-degree rise and whatever else. Continue. Food and water scarcity, all these like horrible things that are talking about. Keep going. So they're basically just making a case for it. The private sector knows the time has come. Some 89% of C-level executives surveyed by Deloitte agreed there's a climate emergency, and 80% consider the globe at a tipping point to do something about it. I wonder who they were talking to. Continue. Oh, this is the interesting slide here. Our analysis shows that a low-carbon future is not only a societal imperative, but an economic one. For instance, earlier Davos meeting, private and public sector interests talked of the carbon capture technology, listen to this, that would allow oil and natural gas to remain in an energy mix that includes wind, solar, nuclear, and hydrogen. So just last year, nuclear wasn't involved in this. It was just wind, solar, and hydrogen. Now they added nuclear back in. Now they're adding oil and natural gas back in.
What the heck?
The technology snatches pollution at the point of combustion, storing it underground, and sometimes repurposing the carbon byproduct as its own energy source. And it remains controversial as some staunch environmental groups worry it simply green lights more fossil fuel drilling, which it does. Carbon capture, which has drawn big oil investments and venture capital, has the backing of President Biden and select members of Congress, isn't yet commercially viable. But, isn't this interesting?
This is fascinating.
Carbon capture technology that would allow oil and natural gas to remain in the energy mix.
I'm happy to see it.
Politically, this is not going well for them.
No. So they have to include it.
They have to include it. Because how are you going to switch? There's already rolling blackouts in Michigan.
Yep.
There's blackouts in California because of energy.
Yep.
They need oil and natural gas.
The whole country is built on it.
Unless they build more nuclear power plants.
But they don't want to do that. They do not want to do that.
So in order for you to have this all-electric car, whatever, future, all-electric future with electric cars, electric semis, electric planes, electric ships.
Yep. Which electricity is not also the most environmentally and sustainable product to use. So interesting.
Yes, carbon capture. I mean, yeah. Why would you want to capture carbon? That's what the trees are for. But yeah, that's what they're looking at.
I think Israel and coincidentally Saskatchewan were leading in the carbon capture field.
From the oil sands?
Interesting.
Isn't it? So I'm going to keep my eye on that because it looks like this whole thing, like shift away from whatever, is all talk. But and money is being spent, money is invested in the background into nuclear energy projects, which even, people that are 100% like climate, priests like Bill Gates basically, invests into nuclear energy. And I guarantee you he's going to invest in this because that's going to be big.
Oh, totally. Bucks. Absolutely. But do you think they started this whole thing, like the green initiative, in order to build an entire industry? And now that they've known all along that they would have to resort back to this? Because if you really understand the science behind it all, you understand that going fully green is not necessarily the most environmentally friendly.
No, it's not. Going green isn't environment. I mean, there's always going to be. It's just to make basically fringe groups happy.
Yes.
And it's a way for there to be some sort of like global taxation.
Right. Thus, you need an industry.
Yeah, and that's why politicians love it.
Cool.
And then banks love it because ESG they can charge more fees for.
Yep.
Companies love it because if I buy paper for the office, I can either pay $5 per or whatever it is, $5 per ream, or I can pay $10 per ream because it's recycled.
Recycled.
It's green.
Trudeau's carbon tax, all of it.
All right, let's take a look at some stocks to research. That is true. XRP and XDC are the only two cryptos at Davos. All right, so I've got two for you today. Number one, SPDR portfolio S&P 500 high dividend ETF, ticker symbol SPYD, SPYD. SPYD. This is more of a medium risk. What it is, it's just a high dividend ETF. They currently have about $7 billion in assets under management, an expense ratio of 0.07%, which is pretty good. The price has come down recently on it, so it is a good time to buy in. Dividend yield 3.67%, which isn't that great, but it is staying fairly stable. So on the chart, it had a double bottom where it tested lows and then it didn't go past those lows. So I think that this is a good one to take a look at. And just something that you could possibly, I was looking at it from the point of view of like, where can I park some money right now, get a little bit more interest than I do in my savings account, to wait for some market bottom to where then I can go over my shopping list of stocks that I would like to buy into. So that is one that I took a look at, SPYD, which is a high dividend ETF, and it has had a lot of inflows recently. So a lot of people have been parking money in this ETF. So that's one. The other one that I have taken a look at this weekend is Avis Budget Group, CAR. So I was taking a look at PLYA, which is a Mexican resorts company, the other day. And Avis Budget Group has consistently beat earnings over the past couple quarters. They just had one where they beat by, I think it was 60-something%. And earnings per share surprise was 182%. So they had a great earnings surprise there. And I think moving into the summer with more people going on vacation, I think there's going to be more of that. That's why this could potentially be a good buy. Their 52-week high was $357. It's currently trading at $184. So it's almost, half. That's basically half. So it's down 50% from its high. That was last year, the end of last year. Actually, no, yeah, the end of last year. So take a look at that one, see if that's something that makes sense for you. CAR, Avis Budget Group. I'm looking at this as a short-term, 1 to 3 months, just possibly through earnings in August. That's what I'm looking at. I'll take a look at CVE as well.
Also SJT.
SJT, CVE.
Oh, dang. And HDSN.
I'll take a look at those. But yeah, those are some that I'm taking a look at. I'll probably do an option on Avis Budget through August and see what happens there. And then SPYD is just one to put if you have some extra money sitting in cash. That will be a good one to put it in. Awesome. Well, if you'd like to invest in Revival today, we'll give you an opportunity to do that right now. Here's the ways to give. #donate on Facebook. You can text RT to 50155. Cash App, $RTGive, Venmo at RTGive, revivaltoday.com/PayPal for PayPal. We also accept cryptocurrencies. And checks. Revival Today, P.O. Box 7, Prosperity, Pennsylvania, 15329. Let's see if we're going to do, what are we going to do for offer? Oh, if you haven't got one, let me do the journal again. The trading journal. It's going to help you a lot. I read through like the reviews on this, and a lot of people said that it's up their trading game, especially if you're new to trading, because just like with a regular journal, if you write things down, you remember them better. So it's got different things in there, your rules, trading logs, notes, things where you can put the graphs in and charts. So we'll send that to you as a thank you for partnering with us today, for investing in Revival Today. If this weekend, Naples, Florida, do you have the graphic? At Faith Church in Naples, if you're anywhere in Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, make it to those meetings there. At Faith Church in Naples, the Revival Today Bible Institute launching this fall. Make sure that you apply online if you're interested in going to Bible school. And then we have the Bike Bless this weekend at Robert Morris University Dome, May 29th, 10 a.m. We're giving away a Harley Davidson. So if you're a biker, make it out. If you're anywhere in the area, just make it out. Join us with your bike. It's going to be a fun time. Awesome. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. Let's take one last quick look at the markets here. Looks like Dow Jones is down 113 points. The Nasdaq's being hit hard, down 288 points, 2.4%. And the S&P is down 1.22%. We'll see where it ends today. But thanks for tuning in, everybody. Go out there and make some money today, and we will see you all tomorrow.
If you are 18 to 35 years old and feel the call to full-time ministry, I've got exciting news. Revival Today Bible Institute this fall, September 2022. If you feel the call of God into full-time ministry, a strong biblical foundation is essential. However, education alone is insufficient. Sound biblical training coupled with the power of the Holy Spirit is the vital dynamic duo. God has called Jonathan and I to open up a training school that offers live, on-campus classes to equip the next generation in fulfilling the call of God in their lives. Revival Today Bible Institute's mission is to raise ministers of excellence who deliver the gospel of Jesus Christ in word and in power. Will you join us? Will you join us in seeing this generation transformed by the gospel of Jesus Christ? If you want more information or you want to apply, go to revivaltodaybibleinstitute.com. I love you. See you there.